Puranas, ancient scriptures, you will see that you will observe that some of the learned individuals are whom we treat as Brahmins. I don't know whether you have observed it or not, but you will see in some stories or in some places in the scriptures, sacred scriptures, that they will be eating non-veg. Now, over a period of time, this habit has changed. That too, with the because of the influence of Jainism, people, especially Brahmins, resorted to vegetarianism. Okay, such things have, I'm saying they happen. That's why we say that the religion is dynamic; it always changes. Okay, so as very good, I appreciate you. As she rightly said, religion is a set of rules for all. Uh, it and so these rules and regulations they actually help the society. Their intention is to make the society a better place to live in. And philosophies are the rules and regulations, are the observations, I should say, are their understandings, the understandings of the sages, rishis, munis, sages. So they have expressed their own understanding in their own way. So, like that, we have Shet Darshanas. That means six schools of thought, or six understandings, six philosophies. In Indian languages, to be more specific in Sanskrit, we call the equivalent word of philosophy is Darshana Shastra. Darshana is literally means looking at, or for example, you go to a temple, people will ask you generally, had you darshan? In the same way, the darshana is looking at, seeing it, observing it. So they have also observed, or they have also seen the nature, and they try to understand its nature. They wanted to know the reason for the existence, the ultimate reality, ultimate truth about many things, variety of life actually, how the life has come into existence, all these things, right? So door yeah, so philosophy is body of knowledge. If you learn it, it is good. If you don't learn, then no problem. But religion, those rules which are part of religion, they are, I'm saying, without the uh, level of education, it's not related to your level of education. It is must for everyone. Why? As I said, to make the society a better place to live in. So these philosophical ideas are schools of thought. There are many ideas, many philosophies, many observations, many different ideologies. But we are talking about only those religious, and so those ideas which are very famous in those days. So we have some six philosophies in one group, and three philosophies or three ideologies, three observations in another group. So the first group which we are going to discuss is Astika system. They come under Astika system. In English, we don't have an equivalent word, but generally people think that it is theism, which is equivalent to Astika, word Astika, but it is wrong. Theism is believing in God. Atheism is not believing in God. But Astika system is not believing in God. A person who believes in God should not be, and say, Astika doesn't mean that a person who believes in God. Nastika doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in God. No. In Indian context, Astika Nastika means the individual who believes in the infallibility of Vedas is Astika, and Nastika is the person who doesn't believe in the infallibility of Vedas. That's it. But generally, it is used in that sense as Astika means theist and Nastika means atheist. Generally, people think that, but that's not correct. So we have two systems. One system believes in the infallibility, that is correctness of Vedas, and the other system which believes that Vedas are not infallible. Right? So first system comprises of six ideologies, six schools of thought. Then second system, there is no hard and fast rule that these are the only. There is no rule of thumb which says that these are the only ideologies which come under Astika system, and these are the only ideas which come under Nastika system. No, but we are discussing only those ideas which are very famous, which many have accepted. Okay, so the first one, as I said, there are six. In those six philosophies, the first one is propounded by Kapila Maharshi, Sankhya. Sankhya is the brainchild of Kapila Maharshi. So what Kapila Maharshi has explained, this, that idea has got the name Sankhya, Sankhya Yoga. Again, in these six schools of thought or ideologies, two are paired. They come are people say that they are more close ideologically. Sankhya and Yoga are very close. Let us first discuss about Sankhya. Sankhya being the uh, oldest of all. In the chronological order also, it comes first. So the Kapila Maharshi says that the gist of Sankhya is everything in reality comes from or stems from the combination of two things, Purusha and Prakriti. What is Purusha? What is Prakriti? Prakriti, we all know that it is nature. Then what is Purusha? Students, what is the meaning of the word Purusha? No one wants to answer this?
Boy.
No. Generally, we think that we take the literal meaning that men are boy, man or a boy, but it's not correct. It is the self-awareness, the soul, the mind, okay, which makes us we, or which gives us the feeling that it's me, I am. The self-awareness. It can be a woman, it can be a man, it can be a boy, it can be a girl, even it can be a third gender also, or it can be any other kind of life form also. For example, there is a dog. We don't know that whether it has got this kind of feelings or not, but it is a life form. So when the word Purusha is used in a different context here, it is self-awareness. Okay, so everything in reality comes into. He's not saying that uh, because we are aware of something, it is coming into existence. No, he did not say that. What it means is you will come to know of its existence when you have some kind of information with regard to that. For example, if there is a lake, let us suppose there is a big or small lake. If I know that there is a lake, then anyhow I have knowledge of its existence. Otherwise, if I don't have the knowledge of its existence, then also it will still exist. But the thing is, I don't have the knowledge of its existence. So Kapila Maharshi is saying that the metaphysical world is the result of two things. One is, first of all, it should be in existence. Then you should know that it is in existence. Otherwise, even though it is in existence, that won't change your life, or you will not be affected by it. It will not be affected by you, or you will not come to know about its existence. So, the Kapila Maharshi says that Purusha and Prakriti are two different things, and it is the combination of these two things because of which we are able to see the metaphysical world. Okay, so the difference between Western philosophy and Indian philosophy is very simple. We are talking about ourself, and which is separate from, that is nature, separate from us, that is nature. Whereas Western philosophy talks about the mind and body. Okay, that is the difference between Western philosophy and Sankhya. We are talking about the nature and ourself, the self-awareness, soul, mind, these things. So Patanjali has also identified 25 elements, and he also said that everything in reality stems from the combination of two things, Purusha and Prakriti. These two things, and say anything which comes into existence. Either it's our idea or it's there in reality. Okay, that's what he said. Then he also said there are 25 elements, and this is the gist, I should say. Okay, so generally people believe that because these six philosophies or six schools of thought or six ideas, they come under Astika system. So people think that these saints, because these are Kapila Maharshi, is a Maharshi, a Rishi, a saint, a sage, so they will be talking something about God. No, it is purely scientific. Do you find anything, or do you find any discussion with regard to God in this explanation, or do you think that it is an observation like modern day science? What do you think, students? I'm asking you that do you found anything related to God?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, answer your roll call. Let me see how many of you are listening to me. 61, 62,
Present, sir.
63,
Present, sir.
64.
61 present, sir.
మరి ఏం చేస్తున్నారండి మీరంటే జస్ట్ లాగిన్ అయ్యారు, క్లాస్ వినకుండా ఉన్నారు అంతేనా?
అది పైన ఉంది సార్, కిందికి తీసుకొచ్చి నొక్కాలి కదా సార్.
ఏంటి పైన?
మైక్ సార్, మైక్ ఆప్షన్. అది
సరే, ఓకే
ఫాస్ట్ చెప్పారు సార్, సడన్ ఓకే సార్.
సరే, 64, 65, 66,
Present, sir.
67, 68,
67 present, sir. 67 present.
ఓకే, 68.
65 present, sir.
సరే అండి, నేను తర్వాత అటెండెన్స్ తీసుకుంటాను. కనీసం ఇప్పటి నుంచి అయినా క్లాస్ వింటూ ఉండండి. నేను అటెండెన్స్ మళ్ళీ తీసుకుంటాను. Be attentive at least from now onwards. I don't know when I will be taking attendance. So please be attentive, be ready. So Sankhya is not discussing anything about God. Sankhya is simply saying that everything in reality stems from Purusha, self or mind, and Prakriti. Okay? Then the difference between Sankhya and Western philosophy is Western philosophy speaks about the mind and body, whereas Sankhya speaks about the Purusha and Prakriti, that is the self and the nature, matter, or a creative agency. Okay, so the creative agency is, in reality, frankly speaking, it's nature which has got the reproductive capacity. What are we doing? Are we not, don't we have the reproductive capacity? Yes, of course we do have, but how have we come into existence? It's because of nature. The creative agency is nature. Okay, even physics says the same thing. We are all, as you find in Hinduism, that we worship trees, we worship animals, we even worship um, um, mountains. Do we worship really mountains? Can anyone give me example? Students, please don't keep quiet. Can you give me an example?
Amarnath.
There is a temple in Amarnath. So it's not Amarnath. There is no mountain with the name Amarnath. Amarnath. Yeah, Kailash. Very good. 1 minute. ఒకసారి కాల్ డోల్ చేస్తున్నాడు క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను చెప్పు. Yeah. So, for example, Vindhya mountains, then Kailash Parvat. Like this, we have Meru Parvat. Many are there. right? So as we feel that all the kinds of life form or all has come from only one thing, in the same way the uh, Indian atheistic philosophy also says the same thing, and it's not that the only atheistic philosophy says the same, but physics also says the same. We all have all the kinds of life form, non-living things, living things, everything has come from one kind of thing, matter. That's why we are in some or the other way we are related. That's what even physics says. Okay, so I advise you people to see a series, TV series, Cosmos, and I think it's available in YouTube. Cosmos by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's a purely documentary on science and science development of science. But you will also come to know how the life has started on Earth and many other things he discusses. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a astronaut who worked in NASA, and he has done this documentary or a series. So if you want, you can watch it on YouTube. Note down the name. It is Neil deGrasse Cosmos. There are many other programs with the name Cosmos, but I am talking about the Neil deGrasse Cosmos. Okay, coming back to the Sankhya. So Sankhya says so, and this is also accepted by modern day physics. Then comes yoga. Yoga philosophy, or this idea is propounded by Patanjali Maharshi. Patanjali is known for example, yoga asanas. You might have seen. Uh, I don't know whether you have observed or not, but the products which are developed by Ramdev Baba, who is also a yoga guru, the name of his products, most of his products are on the brand name of Patanjali. So now you may get an idea as to why he has chosen the name Patanjali. Patanjali is actually a rishi, a saint, a sage, who has come up with this idea, Yoga Shastra. So yoga is not just about making the body robust or strong. Okay, it's also about making the body strong as well as the mind strong, so that you can take the path of self realization. And for that, he has mentioned a specific way, which is known as Ashtanga Marga or Ashtanga. Ashtanga Marga is the word which is used by Buddhism, but he used Ashtanga Yoga. So, what are the 8 sutras, Yoga Sutras of this Ashtanga Yoga? They are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. I know meanings of some of the words like Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana. 1 minute, students. Hello.
హలో సార్ భరద్వాజ్ గారు బాగున్నారా సార్
మేడం ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి, లైన్లో ఉండండి, జస్ట్ Yeah. So Patanjali's sutras. He mentioned about the 8 sutras: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Um, I don't know what Yama means, but I can tell you the meaning of Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. But anyhow, it is important to understand. It's not that important to understand what they mean, but it is important to understand that by practicing these 8 Ashtanga Yoga Sutras, what positive will happen to us is, first of all, our body will become robust. Uh, it will give us a chance to take the path of self-realization, because we have to do many things, thinking or learning, all those things. For all those things to have a sound mind, first the prima facie, the primary requirement is to have a sound body. So this yoga talks about being physically and mentally fit so that you can achieve the ultimate goal, that is moksha. And this yoga philosophy, or Patanjali, he he has also accepted the 25 elements, uh, which are actually identified by Sankhya. Okay, so apart from accepting the Sankhya's 25 elements, he, in addition to that, he also said that there is some power which gives life to these 25 elements, and that's what he called as the divine power or God. Except that there is nothing about God in Yoga Sutras also. He simply talked about the 8 Yoga Sutras, Ashtanga Yoga Sutras, and he also said that I am also accepting that the philosophy of Sankhya Yoga, that is the 25 elements, existence of 25 elements, and all those things. And he also said, along with these 25 elements, there is something else which we don't know, that is what is God. So this is also again an ideology or a belief system, or you can say an understanding or observation, which is talking about the reality, whatever he has observed. He's explaining the same, but it is not talking about God. He's simply saying there are many things which I don't understand, and those things are how these things get life, or what is the source of the life. Then he said it is divinity, a divine power. That's it. So all these ideas are rational to a great extent, because in modern day what we do is, if we don't understand, we are saying just we don't understand. But instead of saying that, they said it's something which is beyond our understanding, and they have named that as, which is beyond their understanding, as God, Brahma. Then third uh, school of thought is Nyaya. Nyaya is the idea propounded by Gautama. His full name is Akshapada Gautama. Okay, so Gautama talks about again knowledge, but he, and so it's actually a logic. He talks about the knowledge which is acquired by an individual, whether it can be considered as valid or invalid. And he tells you, based on what things you can say that the knowledge acquired by a person is valid, and if the knowledge acquired by somebody is not in these, not through these the sources, or in not in these ways, then it is invalid. That's what he says. It's logic. So what he said, Gautama said, knowledge can be acquired in different ways, but the knowledge acquired through these 4 sources, that is perception, inference, comparison, and testimony, can be considered as valid knowledge. The knowledge that is acquired through any other source is invalid. He is specially talking about perception, that is individual's perception. Then inference, then comparison, and last one is testimony. Okay, so people also say that, Western scientists also say that this is based on, or somewhat related to, the Aristotelian logic, or influenced by Western philosophy. But it is utterly wrong. In those days, people used to come to India for knowledge. India never looked towards any other country especially in case of knowledge or philosophy. History, it's proven history, it's recorded history. And moreover, to substantiate their claims, they even said that these sages they belong to second century BC somewhere around. But even in second century, Western countries never had this kind of philosophy or this kind of knowledge except Greece. And when Greeks came to India, we knew that by that time only there were people like Chandragupta Maurya, Vishnugupta, that is Kautilya, and Kautilya is also an intellectual person, and before that, by that time only all these things were in existence. These ideas, these schools of thought, Vedas, Upanishads, everything were in existence. So there is no point in saying that it is a copy of or it's an imitation of Aristotelian logic. We can say that if at all this ideology and Aristotelian ideology or logic is somewhat similar, we can say that there is nothing wrong in it, right? So Nyaya school says that the knowledge acquired by an individual through these four ways, that is perception, inference, comparison, and testimony, is only valid. Other kinds of knowledge acquired in other ways is not valid. Then comes Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika is the brainchild of Kanada Maharshi. Kanada is a given name, and so it's not the original name of the saint, but people started calling him with this name Kanada. His original name was Alukya. So Alukya says that there is the physical universe can be reducible to a finite number of anything in physical universe. You take anything, any kind of material, any matter, can be reduced into a finite number of atoms. Now I think you understand why the name Kanada. Atom is Kana in Telugu or in Sanskrit. So he is the first person who talked about Kana. So that's why people started calling him Kana Adi Maharshi. A Maharshi or a sage, a scientist who first talked about Kana. Now you can see how good the observation of the people at that time was in India. They never talked anything about God. They simply has come up with their observations, and these observations are as good as modern day science. So he is simply saying that you take anything in the universe, physical universe, all those things, physical things, can be reduced to atoms. That too, the number of atoms is not infinite, it's finite. Okay, so the Vaisheshika, as I said in the beginning, that out of these 6 schools, again we can make 3 groups, like Sankhya and Yoga. Okay, students, are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Sankhya and Yoga, and in second group comes again Nyaya and what were we discussing?
Vaisheshika.
Kanada Maharshi's Vaisheshika. So Nyaya and Vaisheshika are one group. Sankhya and Yoga are one group. But all these 6 come under the same group, that is Astika group. Okay, right. Then comes Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa are also, and so they have other names. Purva Mimamsa is also known as Mimamsa, just Mimamsa. It's not just Mimamsa. Then Uttara Mimamsa, or it is also known as Vedanta. Purva Mimamsa is propounded by Jaimini Maharshi. The objective of Purva Mimamsa school is to interpret and establish the authority of Vedas. What is interpretation? Students, what is interpretation?
Explaining something.
Yeah. And this interpretation, it depends on the ideology, perceptions, knowledge, and many other things of an individual. So one single statement can be interpreted in many ways. Okay. So Jaimini Maharshi is talking about the interpretation. He, of course, in the first instance itself, he says that Vedas are infallible. You have to accept the authority of Vedas. Okay. That is what he says. But he also says interpreting them is also very important. It requires unquestionable faith on Vedas, and at the same time, we should be able to interpret it properly. So let us take attendance first. 67, 68, 69, 70, 60.
70 presents.
Okay, 68 present, 70 present, 71,
Present, sir.
72, 72, 73, 74,
Present, sir.
75, 76, 77,
Present, sir.
78,
Present, sir.
79, 80,
Present, sir.
81,
Yes, sir.
82,
Present, sir.
83, 84,
Present, sir. 84.
84.
84 present, sir.
Okay, okay. 80, 81, 82, 84, 85,
Present, sir.
86, 87,
Present, sir.
88,
Present, sir.
89,
89 present, sir.
90,
Yes, sir.
91,
Present, sir.
92,
Present, sir.
92, 93,
Present, sir.
94,
Present, sir.
95, 96, 97,
Present, sir.
98, 99,
Present, sir.
100, 101,
Present, sir.
102, 103,
Present, sir.
104, 105,
Present, sir.
105 is present. Okay. 106,
Present, sir.
107, 108, 109, 110,
Present, sir.
110 is present. Okay. 111,
Present, sir.
112,
Present, sir.
113, 114, 115, 115 is present. 116,
Present, sir.
117,
Present, sir.
118,
Present, sir.
1 minute.
సార్
Yeah.
సార్ 69 ప్రెసెంట్ సార్. చెప్పే లోపల మీరు 70 అన్నారు సార్. మళ్ళీ
65 also present, sir.
119
okay.
present, sir. 119.
67 also, sir.
మీరందరూ అటెండెన్స్ అడిగినప్పుడు మీ రోల్ కాల్ అంటే మీ నెంబర్ పిలిచినప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పలేదు, ఇప్పుడు చెప్తున్నారు. కనీసం ఇప్పుడైనా ఆగండి, తర్వాత 1 by 1 చెప్పండి.
69 ప్రెసెంట్ సార్.
1 minute. 118 అయిపోయింది. 119,
Present, sir. 119.
Okay, 120. 120 absent. Now you tell me. Is there anyone whose number is missing?
59, sir.
59.
65, sir.
69, 65. Okay.
102, sir.
67
102.
sir.
Okay, 67. Anyone else? 69, 65, 102, 67, 119, 118, ఏదో అన్నారు కదా?
119 present, sir.
Done. అయిపోయింది. ఓకే. సో యా ఇంతే ఎంతూజియాస్టిక్గా ఏదైనా క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినప్పుడు దానికి కూడా ఆన్సర్ చెప్పండి. సో పూర్వమీమాంస ఏం చెప్తాను? It tells you that one should have unquestionable faith in Vedas. Okay? It requires one to have unquestionable faith in Vedas. And it requires not only unquestionable faith, but it also says that salvation can be attained by practicing Vedas. Then it has, as in latter stage, people who are following Purvamimamsa, they have also shifted towards their doctrine towards Brahmanandam or freedom. Anyhow, Brahmanandam or freedom, everything, and say other schools of thought also talks about these things. Ultimate aim is to achieve Kaivalya or Moksha. What is Kaivalya or Moksha? Not taking birth again to face the good or bad consequences, or the consequences of good or bad deeds that we have already done in our past life or in this life. So Mimamsa interprets, okay, and establishes authority of Vedas. And this idea is given by Jaimini Maharshi. Then last one is Vedanta. Actually Upanishads, because they are the end part of Vedas, they are known Vedanta. But Shankaracharya has written Brahma Sutra Bhashyas, and not only that, but he has written commentaries on various other things like Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and many. Along with that, he has also come up with an idea. He explained his ideas or philosophy. I clear the place. Okay. So Adi Shankara's ideas or philosophy is known as Vedanta. To be more specific, it is Advaita, but they also call it Vedanta philosophy. So this Advaita this Advaita philosophy says that there are, as we generally believe, that there is Paramatma, that is Supreme Soul, and Atma, that is Soul. But Vedanta says there is no difference between Soul and Supreme Soul. They have got the same qualities. The only thing is, the soul which is in a body doesn't recognize that it has also got the same qualities that of Paramatma, Supreme Soul. And what stops it from understanding this truth? Students, can anyone guess? It's Maya, which stops from the soul knowing that it is also having the same qualities that of Paramatma, Supreme Soul. Okay, so Shankaracharya simply says that the gist of Advaita philosophy is the Supreme Soul and Soul are one and the same. There is no difference between them, but one has to realize that he is nothing different from the Supreme Soul. And in this way, there are, and say on the same lines, there are many other ideologies by different people. When Adi Shankara first said Advaita, then Ramanuja said Vishishta Advaita, then Dvaita, Dvaita Advaita, then Shuddhadvaita, Achintya Veda, Abheda. Like this, many other schools of thought have evolved, and they explained their ideology, their belief, their understanding. People have accepted all these things because from the beginning in India, we are not bothered about others' ideology, others' beliefs. We always respect others' beliefs, and we are at the same time say that okay, you have your own right, and say whatever you believe, whatever you understand, you can practice it. But whatever I understand, whatever I believe, I'll practice it, and still we can live in harmony. That is what is Hinduism. So people from the beginning, they give utmost importance to individual thinking, individual belief, faith, understanding. Unlike others, we never forced anything upon any us. We always believed, and we always said that everyone is free to choose their beliefs, what they want to believe, what they don't want to believe. This is it. Okay. So with this, we have completed a major topic in third unit. I wish you all the best for your internal exam. Notes is made available in the Google Classroom. So prepare well and write well. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. I am open to questions. Otherwise, we'll conclude today's session. Then we'll meet again. I think from Monday onwards, you have exams. Am I right?
Any question bank?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So prepare well. ఏదో అడుగుతున్నారు ఎవరో చెప్పండి.
సార్ ఎనీ ఇన్ఫో అబౌట్
questions?
కాలేజ్
అయిన ఇయర్ అండ్ యూనిట్